Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I have an update for my Panda palette project. Now, last month's update wasn't all that exciting. I didn't really use my Panda palette that much, and I sort of left you with a cliffhanger as to what I was gonna do. So in previous months, I have been using a selection of singles. So I had two palettes with some singles in them, and I realized I wasn't really using them and I didn't really know what to do. So I made a small palette with 8 singles, and I decided to see if I would use it and how to proceed from there. So I will insert a photo of the singles that I selected and what they look like at the beginning of this month. And then here is what they look like today. So the most significant change is the usage in this shadow and the fact that I was able to hit pan in this shadow. This shadow was originally in my Panda palette, so I kept it in because I felt like I was close to hitting pan. And this is just a very easy lid setting shade, so I threw that in the mix as well, just to have a reason to reach for this palette either way. The rest of the shadows, I did use this shadow a couple of times. I think I used the yellow ones, and this yellow to orange I used once. I used this shadow once, and then the other two I did not use. So it wasn't a very great success, but it did give me some thoughts and opinions on how to proceed with this project. So I originally decided to start this project as a roulette style because I felt like panning a palette like I did last year really was difficult for me, because you just get to use one palette for the most part, and it was kind of boring. I have made up my mind. If you have seen last year's project, I was gonna say project pen. If you've seen last year's Panda palette, you know that I worked on my Nabla Dreamy palette, and at one point I introduced my ABH Norvina palette. I then eventually depotted the ABH Norvina palette into my Nabla Dreamy packaging, because ABH is notorious to have pans that rust, so I wanted to not deal with that problem. And I've decided to bring her back out. The ABH Norvina, mine at this point, looks like this. So all of these shades are repressed into this palette. I am missing the pink shimmer and the pink matte. Those I've frankened into a blush, and the matte cream shade was already finished. And then there was a like shimmery inner corner champagne shade, and that was also frankened into something else. I don't even remember exactly. So I have 10 shades left in this palette. Now, by no means do I think that I can use up all of these shadows this year. And I don't want to. I don't want to set myself up for only using these shadows. But I do, however, want to try and use up as much as I can. And then I think at the end of the year, whatever's left of this palette will get decluttered, because I don't care as much for the ABH quality and the brand and the name that it has. So I'm okay with letting it go at the end of this year. But there's some shades in here that I do really enjoy, so I want to get some use out of them before I say goodbye to this palette. So I'll give you a overall look once again. And this is what we're starting with. So I'm pretty sure that I can use up Summer for the most part because that's my favorite shade in the palette. And then Dazzling and Rose Gold are two of my favorites as well. The mattes, I would be happy to be able to hit pan in Incense and maybe Eccentric, but I won't be too mad if I cannot. And then the purples I don't love, so I probably won't use them, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe I have an awakening of loving purple and I will get use out of them. So that is it for this palette. And then I decided to change this palette singles to better accompany that palette. So I will switch this up and I will be right back to show you what my companion palette is gonna look like. So here is my new companion palette. These are all Glam Shop shades. Do I know what these are all called? Not really, but probably they're not available anymore because Glam Shop really discontinues their shadows quite quickly. I'm pretty sure they have something similar on their website right now, but this is the palette right now. Do I have pan in? I have pan in almost all of these shadows. So this one doesn't have pan anymore. It's a very dark purple, but it kind of looks black or dark brown on camera, but it's a very dark purple. I've added some purples here. This is one of my favorite shades from Glam Shop. Unfortunately, you cannot get it anymore. This is Kiwi Purple. It's a purple, but it has like a green shift to it. Love that. And I've put some greens here that I also really enjoy. And we shall see what use I can get out of this palette. I'm definitely gonna try and use up this shadow right here. And the rest are just here for me to play around with. I'm not gonna set any goals. I will just see how much damage I can do. And if I feel like switching it up next month, then I can do that. And this way I hope to kind of circle through all of my Glam Shop singles because I have quite a few, so that I get some more use out of them and get a better feel for what I like and what I like to use, while also helping me pan the ABH Norvina palette. So that will be all for this update. It's a little bit messy. We're doing something new. I am really hoping that next month's update is going to be an exciting one and that you like what I'm gonna try to do and that you like to see how far I can use up my ABH Norvina palette, even though I'm not gonna be really harsh on myself and try to really use it up. I just want to get as much use out of it as possible before I let it go. So that is all for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!